ridiculousness of the obviousness of the day to which we live. For those on the right side of the spectrum, you're a butthead. Through and through. Those on the left, you're Beavis. Through and through. One's a horn dog, and the other, a tough idiot. Those names there are all the capitals that exist that have an obelisk. Something so simple to see that explains everything you need to know in one idol. One simple structure. And then there's the ones that are not exactly so simple because, buildings. The dome. Seeing domes all over the place, including the White House. White House has a dome. This is the male and female, I guess you'd say, sex organs. Obelisk is supposed to be a ball shaft. As in Baal, as in Baal, as in Satan. And then this is supposed to be a representation of the womb, of power, of femininity. Because again, it's a concept that you birth power through blood and pain, blood and death. It's funny because it's so ridiculously simple for those who know and understand these things. These are all the different places. You got DC, you got New York City, of course, which the reason why I have that in parentheses is it's kind of a capital in and of itself. Oddly enough, it's named the same as the one in London. That's why those two are connected. One in Moscow, but the Russian and the Russian hackers, the Russians! Red Scare all over again. One in Paris, one in Cairo. Ironically, the one in Paris and Cairo have the same name. Because one's in Luxor, as in Luxor, Egypt, and the other one is named the Luxor in France. Didn't Napoleon conquer at one point Egypt? I wonder why they called it the Luxor. I wonder why. Then there's Israel. Oh, excuse me. There's nothing to see there. That's just anti-Semitic to talk about them. Even though if we're talking about a government that has no actual connection to, the representation of a community or a religion as a whole, yeah, let's just call that racism. Anti-Semitic behavior. You can look all this stuff up on Google. Speaking of Google, look. You got this right here. So you got a G. Why do they have a G for Google? Oh, because it's Google. That's the first letter, right? Yeah, but why is it like that? That's what it reminds me of. The Freemasonic G. Why do they have multiple colors? This here is supposed to be gold or yellow, but I don't really have that, so I'd use orange. But anyways, I figured I'd, write things in here to explain a little bit. Water, earth, air, fire. If this was a pentagram, this is all mixed up. Earth and fire are supposed to be down here. Those are the bottom two. The top two are supposed to be air and water. That is technically correct here. Air, water. They're on their respective sides. Fire is where spirit is supposed to be. And spirit doesn't seem to exist. Oh, I wonder what the symbology of that is. Now, all these numbers I have, well, this is also a certain math equation you can use for actual mathematics, for multiplication. This is something I learned from Tesla. And, some of his ways of writing that, got out there and whatnot, my grandmother showed me. 5 and 4, 9. 6 and 3 is 9, 7 and 2 is 9, 8 and 1 is 9. And you can use this as a multiple equation. You can use this from, basic math. Anyways, point is, you can use it for exactly that. So, calculation, and it has no spirit. Didn't they talk about AI? The fact that Google's going to pretty much be exactly that, if not already. Weird. And it's above Earth. But why is fire above? Because fire has replaced spirit. Destruction is fire. So, destruction, which obviously 9 is a quote-unquote perfect number, because it always ends up to itself. 9 is also a representation of IX, as in IXXI. For those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear, you know what I mean. It is the number, if you will, of ball. Yeah. Funny, isn't it? The world that we have. All the truth is right before your eyes. That's why it's so easy to lie to you. Because it just requires you to point out the truth and to realize you're being lied to. Da 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 da. Why is that W up there? Wisdom. Like Minerva or Moloch, a fire god. Why is red blue and blue red? Because the ideology is flipped. One is supposed to be all about freedom for women and minorities, and yet all they do is destroy, consume, like fire, like red. And red is blue because we serve the working man, and yet they serve the blue bloods. Da-ba-da-da. The truth is before your eyes. And today, it only sits before you on my refrigerator. Because you could look at it everywhere else, but you'll never see this information all together in one spot. Because this is just conspiracy. Open your eyes, my brothers and sisters. And those of you in Christ, if you haven't repented already, good time to get to it. Pick up KGV, don't worry about everything else. And understand that God is with you. Keep praying. Let Him speak for you. Don't always hold back, because God didn't. But God was a patient man, or at least He made one. Think of my words. Don't give up your rights. This was a Christian nation once upon a time, and now it serves Baal, just like those other nations, including those we may call enemy, and yet their governments are the enemy of our people, and we are the enemy of their people, because ultimately the government is the problem. An empty, cold, spiritless system that rules all that you see, all that you feel, but not what you are, because it can't attain it. Cannot attain spirit. Only Christ, God the Father, can. God bless you all. Good luck.